If f of x equals e to the x plus 1 and g of x equals the square root of x minus 3, find f of g and g of f, then evaluate f of g of 1 and g of f of 1. This open circle notation is the composite of functions. We are given two functions f and g, and we are asked to compose them. First, f of g, by definition, this is f of g of x in that order. We always evaluate the inner function first, g of x. We're given that g of x is the square root of x minus 3, so we replace g of x with the square root of x minus 3. And then we go to the function f. The input is now the square root of x minus 3 instead of simply x. And so everywhere we see an x in the function fx, we will replace it with the square root function. So this will be e to the input, which is now the square root of x minus 3, and everything else is the same. And this is f of g. Second, g of f by definition is g of f of x in this order. Again, replace the inner function. The inner function is f of x, which is given e to the x plus 1. This will be the input of the function g. Then we go to the function g, which is the square root function. We will replace e to the x plus 1 with x. The square root of x is now e to the x plus 1, and we still have a minus 3 in this function. Simplifying this, we have the square root of e to the x minus 2. 1 minus 3 is 2. We're asked to evaluate f of g of 1, which is f of g of 1. Writing this in a different way. Always evaluate the inner function first. There is no need to, because we have a formula for f of g of x, which is e to the square root of x minus 3 plus 1, and so we simply plugged it in into this f of g function, which is e to the square root of 1 minus 3 plus 1. In this case, we end up with e to the square root of negative 2 plus 1, and we say that this is undefined because the square root of negative 2 is not a real number. For g of f of 1, this is g of f of 1, but again, we're not going to evaluate f and then g. We will simply use this final formula. This will be the square root of e to the 1 minus 2, which is the square root of e minus 2. This is the exact answer. E is a number that is more than 2, and so e minus 2 will be positive. This will be a real number. If we want to know what this number is in decimal, we should simply use a calculator. In fact, the square root of e minus 2 using a calculator, we simply type in the square root of e minus 2, and we'll get approximately, this is 0.85 rounded to 2 decimal places.